Hey guys, welcome back for another training session here. We're going to be in the episode 004. We're working with the Modern Real Estate Practice 20th edition by Dearborn. Okay, I put on here, we're around page 25. Today we're going to be discussing about fixtures. Okay, and again, my name is Scott Buetta, and welcome to the Learn to Real Estate. Again, our focus on fixtures and the differences between the two. Okay, whereas fixtures can be permanently attached, or they temporarily attached. Okay, so you have fixtures that are personal property, and you have fixtures that are part of the real estate. Okay. For example, permanently attached fixtures that are hardwired are typically either built in, okay, and or plugged in temporarily. We have key items that kind of dictate whether the item is permanent or personal. Okay. Again, personal being something that's movable. So we have methods of annexation. And again, there's a key word that you should know, annexation, annex. Okay, attachment. How was it attached? Will removal cause damage? That's important. If it won't cause damage, likely it's a movable item and it's a personal item. Okay. We also have the adaptability. These are, again, keywords as to how this fixture plays out as a fixed part of the real estate or as a personal item that's movable. That will be considered something that goes with the seller or the tenant. Okay. Again, adaptability, movable or built in. The relationship, that's part of what is stated, that the courts favor buyers and tenants. So if there is a argument over a fixture between a buyer and a seller, usually there's a favoritism for the buyer. And also between the tenant and landlord, there's a favoritism for the tenant. Okay, so they'll look at who owns the fixture, the intention of the placement. Is it meant to stay with the property? Was it meant to be a temporary thing as a holdover? Okay. Was there an agreement of the parties as to that fixture? Is that fixture something that was agreed upon as remaining, or something that was again temporary? Was there an agreement between the parties? Okay, so there's all about your fixtures and how it creates a setup, whether it's part of the real estate or personal. There's another item I wanted to mention, trade fixtures, and that typically has to do with a tenant and a lease. So trade fixtures are usually something that is brought in by the business and is recognized as a trade tool, as a trade fixture. So that's an important understanding between a regular fixture and a trade fixture. Trade fixtures are typically having to do with a tenant and a lease. It's used in the course of business. It must be removed prior to the lease end. Okay. All damages must be repaired upon the removal. Failure to remove upon the lease end becomes real property, and ownership is then the part of the real estate which is to the landlord. Okay. Again, to something that is left on the property that becomes part of the real estate is called a cession. Okay. It's a constructive annexation. And these are important keywords for you to remember. Accession is adding, okay? Constructive annexation is adding to the property. Other things that you need to know about are severance. To sever is real property becoming personal property through severance. Okay, so you can sever something that's real property by taking it down. Through a couple examples I have are cutting down a tree or taking down a fence. That there is severance. Okay. There are different forms of severance, and we'll talk about that later, but just to understand what severance is. Severance is in real estate, taking something that is real property and turning it into personal property, actually severing it from the land. Okay. Again, I have some tips that I'd like to share with you. Again, having to do with the buying questions I found would be helpful to people in regards of buying and or clients that are looking to purchase. And these are questions here that I found useful, which I don't see in the book. Again, things that have come to me in the past, such as cell service. I've known clients who have told me their purchases into a home that had no cell service, and they wish they never even bought the place. So, nice question to ask is how's your cell service here? Okay, how is your cell service? How are the neighbors? Moving in, you know, do you want to move in next to a disaster scene? You know, understanding about trash. How convenient do you want your trash pickup? Do you want to have to haul it in your trunk to a place, or do you want somebody to come by and pick it up for you? You know, and is there any cost involved? Trash day. And again, has anyone verified the information that you have to the town records? Meaning, bedrooms match the town records. You see 3 bedrooms. Does the town know it's 3 bedrooms? They may only have 2 bedrooms. Also, if you have a septic system, does the septic capacity, which is typically bedrooms, match that of the town? Very important. I've seen cases where the 3-bedroom only had a 2-bedroom septic capacity on record. Right? It happens. You have to verify. Is there a capacity to add on to your building or onto your property to enhance it? Again, creating further value. Do you have opportunity to add on to your property? You can look at that through zoning and all. You want to always thoroughly read your disclosure and validate all those disclosure points with your with the seller and or agent. You know, sometimes there's mistakes on those. You need to ask about crime or break-ins. we're talking about the crime and break-in. Good to know if your place is targeted by criminals, wouldn't you think? Were there recent inspections? And if a property's been on the market for a little while, which has gone through some inspections, they have further knowledge of, and if they do have knowledge of anything on those inspections that you should know of. Okay. Sometimes not in the disclosure because that was made prior to the inspections. I believe anybody that knows anything has to disclose that to the buyer as long as they know it. Are the property lines clearly marked? You know, if the property lines are not clearly marked, you may end up buying a property that the driveway is on the other side of the fence line. You know, surprise, surprise. And also validate that the lines match up with your boundary plot plan. Everything is public, and you should verify. One of the most important decisions of purchasing is to make sure and verify everything that you're looking at to purchase, and or for your clients to know. Due diligence. Are your property lines clearly marked? Who owns what? Are there any encroachments? You want that dealt with beforehand. Is your neighbor dumping material on your property? Or has the seller been dumping on somebody else's property? Important. Also, what is the 1 year price trend? Meaning you're going to be purchasing. It's going to take 30, 60 days, maybe longer. So you have to consider that. If prices are coming down, consider 2 months price reduction. Okay? Trend. Work with the trend. If the price is going up, you have to try to consider that as a positive, but consider that in your purchase price. Also with the taxes, how's the tax trend doing? Some people see the price of taxes going up tremendously and they want to get out. Take that in consideration if you're starting to see 5%, 10%, 20% in a year tax increase. And also, what is the town planning on doing on rebuilding a brand new $20 billion school? So get ready. Look into the tax trend of your town. Okay, that'll be somewhat of an unforeseen cost, but you have to consider that. Have you actually met your neighbors? If you're serious about moving in, you asked about how your neighbors are, but at the same time, maybe bring a thing of cookies and say, hi, how are you? And who knows, you have some crazy man come out with a shotgun, you know, or a mean dog that goes after your neck. Do you want to live next to that? Okay. See if you'd like to meet the neighbors, you know. And also what they have for pets, you know. I mean, you have a werewolf living next door, and you have children, you know. The thing is foaming at the mouth. You want to know about that. Now, would you buy that house if you knew your neighbor had a foaming at the mouth werewolf? Okay. The next video, I'm going to be talking about laws affecting real estate. It's a great video. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it into one because I like to chunk things into 10, 15 minutes. Okay. I'm going to try to make smaller videos too, so they can be on the fly. Contract law, property law, agency law, the licensure law, federal, state, and local laws, which include consumer protection, okay, environmental, tax, land use, in zoning. Okay? Hey, thanks a lot for coming by. Please support the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed the video.